What is the difference between us and vegetables, stars, crickets, and dogs? According to some researchers, is there a difference in our consciousness? If so, where did this knowledge come from, and what is its nature? Is it a physical phenomenon or beyond the material world? How does this knowledge relate to the concept of God? In this video, we are going to answer these difficult questions. According to statistics, this is the second biggest question of the century. What is consciousness at all, and what is its nature? What if all of history, or at least a large part of it, is a lie or hidden from us? Some people in the world believe that there are many hidden secrets that are deliberately kept hidden from the public. These secrets reveal themselves only to true seekers. We seek to find these secrets in this channel. If you are with us on this path, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. Scientists have been studying the brain for decades and trying to understand the nature of consciousness. They have made significant progress in mapping areas of the brain that are involved in various cognitive functions, such as perception, attention, and memory. For example, research has shown that when we experience a sense of self-awareness, certain areas of the brain are more active, such as the prefrontal cortex and parietal lobe. But still, what is consciousness, and where does it come from? According to the list prepared by Science magazine in 2005 of the most important scientific questions of the current century, this question was ranked second. This shows that the research in this field, as well as the discussions that exist on finding the answer to this question, are much more important and wider than most of us imagine. Is our consciousness the result of the functioning of our mind and brain or not? On the contrary, the functioning of our brain is the result of the consciousness we have? In what form should the philosophy of mind and the problem of consciousness be expressed, and in what ways do we have to advance in discovering the answers to these questions? In the words of one of the philosophers of this field, who is the person inside us, the observer of the world and its events? This question is the essence of the philosophy of mind and, of course, consciousness. But despite all the scientific advances that have happened in the knowledge of consciousness, the answer to the question of what consciousness actually is remains a mystery. One of the main challenges of studying consciousness is that consciousness is a mental experience, and we don't know a way to observe and measure it directly, like other physical phenomena. On the other hand, many religious traditions and spiritual knowledge consider consciousness as something beyond the physical world. They believe that consciousness originates from God and is the main origin of the universe. For example, in the Hindu religion, a concept called Brahman refers to a kind of universal consciousness that underlies all reality that we are experiencing. Similarly, in Buddhism, a concept called nirvana refers to total consciousness and the ultimate source. It has been said that the goal of every human being in life is to get rid of suffering and connect to this absolute consciousness that transcends all physical limitations. So, how do these concepts help us to know God? Some philosophers and spiritual masters argue that consciousness gives us powerful evidence for the existence of this central energy, God. They point out that the complexities and beauty of the natural world show that superior intelligence in action and consciousness is the ultimate expression of this intelligence. In fact, according to these philosophers, consciousness is God's intelligence, which is institutionalized in the existence of humans and creatures and has caused us to find a very special and strange understanding of the world. Although some others doubt this argument, they believe that consciousness and its nature can be explained by physics alone, and there is no need to define God and unknown energy in the meantime. For example, some researchers introduce consciousness as an interaction between different areas of the brain and consider it the result of physical processes at the quantum level. These researchers and philosophers, who are mainly made up of materialists, believe that it is not necessary to define any metaphysical force and that what created consciousness in humans and creatures are quantum forces and physical laws. However, some other physicists think completely against this idea. They consider the collapse of the wave function and the production of particles and quantum events to be the result of human consciousness. In fact, they believe that it is not only nature that creates consciousness, but on the contrary, it is mind and consciousness that shape nature and all events. One of the main defenders of this point of view is Henry Stepp and Professor Roger Penrose, winner of the Nobel Prize in Physics. They believe that the human brain is a meta-algorithmic system and creates quantum interactions within itself. Some even take this idea further and create a connection between consciousness and space-time. Although some other physicists like Victor Stenger called these theories pseudoscience, none of them have provided a clear and acceptable explanation about the nature of consciousness. However, in spiritual knowledge and mysticism, the general belief is that consciousness is a gift from God to man. The man was created like God, and this knowledge was given to him to understand, analyze, and directly receive the truths of the world. He can use this knowledge to improve life and the world and finally create an ideal and perfect world. Or ignore it and see it as a random event and don't give it a special place. Of course, knowing a special place for man does not mean that he can selfishly use all the resources and creatures of the universe to achieve his goals. Rather, he must learn to use this knowledge to become a superman and godlike being. Nietzsche, who believes in his philosophy that man is a being that must be transcended and reach something beyond, is called Superman. In this video, we talked about a strange and mysterious concept called consciousness, and we saw what are the different opinions raised about it.